Today I'm going to be bringing you a really quick budget-friendly makeup tutorial using Drugstore brand cosmetics that can be multi-purposed for all kinds of uses. So if you're looking for a way to save a little bit of money right now and experiment with your makeup looks, I can offer you a few different, I'm not selling anything, I don't even get sponsored for this, it's really just to help you out, but I can show you a few products that you can go to Walmart, Target, any drugstore, pharmacy, pick them up for, they're all under $10 each, and I think they're actually all under about $8 each. So you can pick them up and use them for multi-purpose, just a way to kind of feel better throughout the day. You might not have a lot of time, but if you've got 10 minutes to throw your face together, it's amazing how that can make you feel for the remainder of your day. So stay tuned if you want to see how you can put together a very quick sort of wearable makeup look. All right, let's start off with our base. And what I like to do, especially in the springtime and summer, is mix my foundation with a moisturizer. So I'm going to be using the Jergens Natural Glow Face Moisturizer Medium Tan. I like the skin tint that it gives me. I'm also going to be using the Revlon Color Stay 24-hour makeup for combination oily skin. And I'm going to be mixing equal parts. I like the sheer effect that it gives so that it allows your skin to actually glow. And contrary to what you might think, it actually helps create a more youthful appearance. Too many times we try to mask our face, and I'm just going to use the foundation brush. We try to mask our face in full coverage makeup and it settles into the fine lines and pores and it can actually aid you. So letting your natural skin kind of shine through is going to give you a more glowy, dewy, youthful effect. Plus it's wearable. So this is very sheer. I'm essentially creating my own tinted moisturizer here. You can apply this with your fingers as well. I'm using the Real Techniques brush. I'm not even looking in the mirror, but I'm using the Real Techniques brush that you can pick up at any drugstore. And I love this thing. It just helps distribute the product so much more effectively, smoothly, quickly, whatever you want to call it. I prefer it over a beauty blender for sure. So you can see that I started off with some pretty red pigmentation to begin with, and already with that very sheer amount, and that's a medium coverage foundation. That foundation's been around forever. Tried and true. It's one of my favorite drugstore brands. And voila, I'm already pretty much concealed. So I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer, and I'm only going to put this where I absolutely need it. Again, I don't want to cake my face. I just want to use right on the tip of my nose where it gets red, and I didn't sleep very well last night. So I've got some dark shadows. I'm just going to go ahead and apply a small amount there. And again, I'm not baking my face in this or coating it by any means. I'm going to use my fingers here and just kind of tap that in. And the idea is to pat it into your skin so that you're not rubbing it off. Foundation and concealer, very sloppy here, using the Rimmel, this is the Rimmel Transparent Powder. It's a pressed powder. I love this. You can't even see it. I've been using this for probably 2 years now. Transparent 001. Use any old brush. You can use a Real Techniques, doesn't matter. Just grab whatever's around. You can use an e.l.f. brush. Truly, it does not matter. I'm just going to pat this on my nose, right along my T-zone here. I don't like to cake my whole face in it. Again, I really like to let your skin shine through unless you're attending a special event, a photo shoot or otherwise. I'd rather just keep it very, very light. I'm putting a little bit of this on another Real Techniques brush. As you can see, I love these. But this is a smaller dome shape brush that I can apply wherever I put my concealer to help set that. And this is essentially going to act as my eyeshadow primer for the day as well. So concealer can be used. I like to take whatever is remnant on my fingers and apply it to my upper lip as well, if you saw that. And then make sure my eyebrows are nice and powdered because it'll help me when I'm filling in my brows here. So I'm going to be using the NYX Professional Makeup. I'm using brunette today. I was using ash brown. I lightened my hair significantly. It's usually almost black, and I normally use the espresso, but I don't want to go that dark. I don't like that heavy contrast, but I don't like my eyebrows being blonde either. So I did tint my brows. They're pretty much already filled in, but I like a little bit more of a dramatic effect when it comes to my brows. So I'm going to fill it in using this micro pencil. You can grab this at Target, Walmart, anywhere. And I just start with the inner corner of my brow here, and I create the shape. So I'm using this micro pencil to essentially define the shape of my brow, which I think is crucial. And I used to create a really high arch on my brow when I was younger, and my face could tolerate that. But as I've gotten older, I've found that that harshness really brings out all of those features, every feature on your face, for better or worse, and can age you a little bit. So I've kind of softened up my look. I prefer a fuller, more natural brow now. So I'm just really using my natural brow shape. And you'll see that I have created that outline. And I'm going to very, very lightly just go in with my pencil here and kind of draw little hair-like strokes. I'm not using this to entirely fill in my whole brow though. What I'm going to do now is, if I can find it, I'm going to use my NYX Tame and Frame Tinted Brow Pomade. So I'm a huge fan of Anastasia. However, if I am trying to work on a budget here, or I just really like these products, this stuff works excellent. This is the best, drugstore brand brow gear that I've found. And I found that it goes on a lot more natural in appearance than the Anastasia, which is very thick, very, very bold. So it just depends on the look you're going for, but this is a great option for drugstore brand. So I'm going to go into this pomade with a little angled brush here, sharp angled brush. This is an e.l.f. brush you can pick up for a few bucks. And I dip it in, and then I like to wipe off the remnants onto the side. So I get a nice sharp edge, and I'm just going to kind of come down here where I've created that shape and start brushing it in. And I love this pomade because not only does it fill with color, it's sheer enough that it's buildable. So you can really achieve the look you want. If you want a dramatic look, you can achieve that. If you want, just going back in for a little bit more, you can always add more, go with a light amount. But if you want a sheer effect, something a little more natural, this will be your best friend. And I'm just going to fill in the space, that shape that I created using my brow pencil from the tail. Just lightly adding more as needed. I like that tail to be well defined, and I like to elongate it a little bit. I'm going to take whatever's left over without dipping it back in. I'm going to come over to the beginning of my brow, the very, very front head of my brow. I'm calling this a tail, so I guess this is like a snake. I don't know. My caterpillars. And I'm just going to brush that upward, putting the texture and some of the pigmentation onto my brows to give it a fuller, more youthful effect. I'm going to take a little spoolie. You can do that using your micro pencil as well. And I just like to kind of brush that in a little bit. Now my eyebrows. All right, I already have lashes on. I've done lash extensions, so I'm not going to be applying those in this video, but I am going to be applying some wearable daily makeup. And again, this is just kind of like your everyday look. I tend to go a little more glam than the average gal, but not to any crazy extent. I'm using the City Mini palette by Maybelline in Downtown Sunrise. I love these colors. They're very warm. It doesn't require much to give you just a glowing, upbeat look, and that's really what I'm going for. So I'm using this coral color. I love that color. And I'm going to be using that as a transition, more or less, just to make the eyes pop. And I'm going to angle this towards my brow, the tail of my brow. And what that does, and again, I can always go into more detail at another time, but I don't want to take up too much time on this video here. It becomes long very quickly. And I'm just kind of creating an uplifting effect. I'm using this coral as a transition color, more or less. So just kind of applying that. I start by patting it in, and then once I have the color deposited onto my skin, I'm just going to kind of wipe it almost to blend. And that becomes a great transition color. I'm going to move on to my other eye. I like to move eye to eye so that if I'm experimenting or doing something new, I end up with the same result on both sides. It's easy, especially when you're new to makeup, or even if you're not, to get carried away and you forgot what you did to mix and create that look on one eye, and you look a little wonky. Your eyes might not match. So just a little pro tip there. Move from eye to eye as you apply each aspect of your look. You can make sure that it's looking symmetrical. So once I have that on, I'm going to go in and grab this. I'm just going to use the same brush. Even I'm going to use this lighter color here. It's kind of the highlight color, creamy tone. And I'm going to apply that to my upper lid. Blow off the excess and just pat it in. I'm going to put it in the corner of my eye here, just as a little pop of highlight. It's not sparkly by any means. It's a matte color, and I love that. Again, very wearable look. It's just intended to enhance your features and give you a little bit of a glow. All right, so once that's done, I'm going to go back in with this kind of angled. You can even use your eyebrow angled portion. I just like to use a different brush if I have it. I'm going to go in with this, and I'm going to spray the edge with either water. If you just wanted to use water, you could. I've got this rose mist. It's what I have available since I'm not near a sink. And I'm applying that to the tip here. I'm going to dip that into my darker brown color. I like brown over black unless I'm going for a dramatic look, because black makes everything look smaller. So what do you think it does to your eyes? The goal is to make them appear wide-eyed, bright, big, and you don't want to apply a thick black line all the way around. So what I'm going to do now is just come to the outer corner of my eye and lightly, very, very lightly flick a little tiny corner out. Again, kind of aiming towards the tail of my brow. I'm not even going to line my whole eye. What that does is it just uplifts your eye instantly. I'm going to put a little bit more on there. And I'm going to come over to the inner corner of my eye and just slightly elongate that tear duct, which gives you a little bit of a swooping effect. Again, this is not anything dramatic, but it's just amazing how you can transform the way not only you look, but you feel. The power of makeup is spectacular. So again, just adding that little flick, and I'm just aiming for that outer corner of my brow. I know my face pretty well, so this can be done very quickly. It might take you a little bit longer if you're just starting out. And again, just applying that to my tear duct there and elongating that ever so slightly. Then I can go back in and use that as my lower eyeliner. I'm not going to apply it in my waterline. Oh, no, no, girls, you don't want to do that. Bad for your eye. Plus, again, it makes your eye look smaller. So I'm coming to my actual lash line, and I'm just applying it 2/3 the way over on the outer side of my eye and slightly winging that out. It's going to give you a more wide-eyed effect. If you fill in your whole eye, it looks a little too dramatic for everyday wear. Plus, it makes your eyes look smaller. So then you have a lower lid here, and I think people forget about their lower lid. You have 2 lids on each eye. What I want to do is just add a little bit more depth, and it'll make my eyes look bigger. I'm going to go in and I'm going to mix this darker color here with a little bit of this kind of creamy beige tone, just to lighten it up. I'm going to come over here and just kind of draw that, not up against the line I just created, but right underneath along that lid line. And it's going to give you the appearance of a bigger lower lid. You have the lid, obviously, but it's going to make that stand out a little bit more. I'm going to do that on the other side. And then you can take any brush that's clean, kind of fill that in there. And now your eyes are pretty much done. I'm going to go in with my CoverGirl Lash Exhibitionist Uncensored. This is the Extreme Black. I love Extreme Black. And all I'm going to do, very, very lightly, just as I have extensions on, this is not waterproof, by the way. You don't want to put waterproof mascara on extensions. I'm just kind of filling in where my lashes are not jet black. They're dark brown, but not jet black, and I like to fill in that transition. But I don't need it for my entire lash. You could, if you don't have extensions, use that along your entire lash. Then I'm going to take whatever's left. I'm not going back in. I'm going to take whatever's left and just kind of run it horizontally along my lower lashes. You could also take a piece of paper and apply it under your lashes so that you don't get it on your skin. I usually do that when I'm going for a more dramatic effect, because I'll take my wand and apply it vertically, but that's not what we're going for. All right, eyes are done. Now I want to go ahead and bronze up my skin a little bit. It looks a little flat at the moment because I just applied one color, put on my powder, called it a day. I'm going to be using this e.l.f. bronzer palette you can grab at the drugstore. And it's got a wide variety of colors here. What I'm going to do is take my same foundation brush I used earlier. I'm going to dip it in these 2 colors here at the bottom. It's the darker 2. Wipe off any excess. I'm going to come up here to my temple where my cheekbone kind of meets with my ear. And that's where you kind of want to add a little bit of a contour. If maybe you're like me and you're not feeling so lean at the moment, it'll help create more of a cheekbone right there. And I want to take that same color. I'm not going to bring it all the way down. I'm only bringing it down to about halfway down my face. I'm going to come up over my cheek and just deposit some of that color up here to give a bronzed effect. Then I'm going to go back into that color right here. It's the lighter of the 2 on the bottom. It's a little less red. And I'm going to kind of just shade in my forehead and my temple to make it look like the sun has been beaming down on my face. It's going to give a very glowy appearance. I'm going to do, again, the same thing on the other side. You know when you're a kid and you're outside playing and the sun would beat down on your nose and you get that little kind of like light streak across your nose where the sun, you can tell you've not the sun. I'm going to add a little bit of that right there. I'm using the lighter of the colors, so I'm digging into this guy. I don't want to have a complete stripe across my nose, but I do want it to look like the sun has hit me right there across my face. So I'm just adding a little bit to the bridge of my nose. I'm going to go back in with a floofy brush. You can use the same one you applied your powder with. And just make sure that there's no harsh lines. Blending is key. All right, I'm done with that bad boy. Now I'm ready for lips and blush, and I will be done. So I've been using the Burt's Bees Tinted Lip Balm. This is the color Rose. They've got so many different colors. I love this rose color. It's good for, I've got a very neutral to olive skin complexion, a little bit of gold undertones, but I'm not super warm. So I think this is great pretty much for all skin tones. You could go cool or warm with this. So it's just adding a little tiny bit of color to your lips while providing that moisture you need. And now I'm going to turn around and multi-purpose this. I'm going to drop some right here on my cheeks, just a little bit, like so, and it's going to become a creamy blush. I put a little bit more on this side, so I want to make sure I balance that out. I'm going to put that right on the ball, kind of the apples of your cheeks, whatever you want to call it, and then rub it upward just a little bit, make sure that I'm getting it onto my temples, so it looks like you just got your cheeks pinched. Now, just like that, you have a full face of makeup in a matter of 10 minutes or less, and it would have taken a lot less time if I weren't talking and kind of walking through all the products. So I hope this was helpful, and stay tuned for that.